The crisp autumn air carried the scent of fallen leaves and distant bonfires. It was a typical Saturday in rural America, the kind of day where time seemed to slow down. Children chased each other through piles of leaves, their laughter echoing through the neighborhood. Families gathered for picnics, sharing stories and laughter. For the Millers, it started like any other Saturday. John Miller, a hard-working mechanic, was tinkering in his garage. His wife Sarah was inside baking, the warm aroma of apple pie filling their cozy home. And 7-year-old Landon, their only child, was outside playing with their dog, Buddy. On this particular afternoon, their game of hide-and-seek led them further from home than usual. The sun was beginning its descent as Sarah called out, "Landon, time for dinner?" But there was no answer. John joined Sarah on the porch, a concerned frown replacing his usual jovial expression. They scanned the yard and the edge of the woods, their calls for Landon growing increasingly frantic. Minutes stretched into an agonizing eternity as the shadows deepened. Just when their hope began to dwindle, a neighbor rushed towards them, his face pale and his voice trembling. "There's been an accident," he gasped, "down by the highway." John and Sarah's blood ran cold. They sprinted towards their car, fear lending speed to their steps. As they approached the scene, flashing lights pierced the darkness, and the sickening smell of gasoline filled the air. A mangled wreck lay on the side of the road, barely recognizable as a vehicle. Their hearts pounded as they rushed towards the police cordon, desperate for any news of their son. The paramedics wasted no time. With practiced efficiency, they loaded Landon into the ambulance. The wail of the sirens sliced through the night air as the ambulance sped away. The hospital waiting room became their agonizing purgatory. Time lost all meaning as minutes turned into hours. They clung to each other, drawing strength from their shared love for their son. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, a doctor emerged, his face etched with fatigue. He explained that Landon had sustained severe injuries. The impact had caused multiple fractures and internal bleeding. The medical team, he assured them, was doing everything humanly possible to save their son. 3 agonizing days passed with little change in Landon's condition. He remained trapped in a coma, his tiny body hooked up to a bewildering array of machines. John and Sarah barely left his side, their hands clasped tightly around his. And then, just when all hope seemed lost, Landon stirred. He slowly opened his eyes, his gaze unfocused at first. His parents watched with bated breath, their hearts pounding with a mixture of hope and trepidation. "Mommy? Daddy?" he whispered. Tears of relief streamed down Sarah's face as she embraced her son. "We're here, honey," she sobbed. "We're right here." But as Landon began to recount what he remembered, a sense of awe and disbelief settled over the room. Landon, his voice still weak but regaining strength, described his experiences while in the coma. He spoke of a sensation of floating, of being drawn upwards towards a brilliant light. He described the light as brighter than 1,000 suns, but not hot or blinding. It was, he insisted, pure love and happiness. As he drew closer to the light, he became aware of other beings present, their forms shifting and indistinct. They welcomed him with open arms, their presence soothing and comforting. Fear, he insisted, was completely absent. The pain and fear he had experienced during the accident simply melted away. He felt no fear, only a profound sense of peace and belonging. Then, he recounted, he began a journey through a realm of breathtaking beauty. As Landon continued his story, his voice filled with a mix of awe and childlike wonder, he described encountering individuals who had played significant roles in his life. He spoke of meeting his paternal grandfather, a man he had only seen in photographs. He described his grandfather's laughter, the way he smelled of pipe tobacco and fresh-cut grass. He recounted their conversation, filled with laughter and love. And then, his voice dropping to a hushed whisper, he described the most profound encounter of all. He spoke of meeting a being of immense love and compassion. "It was Jesus," he whispered, "and he was so kind." He described Jesus as radiating warmth and light, his presence both comforting and awe-inspiring. These encounters, though brief, left an indelible mark on Landon's soul. He returned from his near-death experience with a profound message of hope and love. Of all the details Landon shared about his near-death experience, one stood out, leaving an especially deep impact on his mother, Sarah. Landon recounted a meeting with a woman who radiated warmth and love. He described her appearance in detail, from the familiar floral dress she wore to the tiny freckle on her left cheek. "She told me she loved me," Landon whispered, "and that she missed me very much." Sarah gasped, tears welling up in her eyes. The woman Landon described was none other than her own mother, Emily, who had passed away when Sarah was just a child. Landon had never met his maternal grandmother, yet his description of her appearance, her mannerisms, even the scent of her lavender perfume, was eerily precise. This revelation more than any other shook Sarah to her core. It filled her with a bittersweet mix of grief and overwhelming joy. Landon's story, while deeply personal and profoundly moving, is not unique. Thousands of people around the world have reported similar experiences after surviving brushes with death. These near-death experiences, or NDEs, often share common elements, such as the sensation of leaving one's body, traveling through a tunnel towards a bright light, encountering deceased loved ones, and feeling an overwhelming sense of peace and love. While skeptics often attribute NDEs to physiological changes in the brain during times of extreme stress or oxygen deprivation, there is growing scientific evidence to suggest that these experiences may be more than just hallucinations. Studies have shown that some individuals who have experienced NDEs report vivid and detailed memories of events that occurred while they were clinically dead. Neurological research has shown that brain activity ceases within seconds of cardiac arrest. Yet some individuals who have been resuscitated after their heart stopped report clear and detailed memories of events that occurred during their period of clinical death. These accounts often include details that were later verified by medical professionals. Furthermore, some individuals who were blind from birth report experiencing visual imagery during NDEs. These cases suggest that consciousness may not be entirely dependent on brain activity. The experience left an undeniable mark on Landon. While he recovered from his physical injuries, the memory of his journey to the other side remained vivid. He carried an air of serenity and wisdom that belied his young age. He no longer feared death, seeing it not as an end, but as a transition to a realm of love and light. He embraced life with a newfound appreciation for its precious and fleeting nature. His story resonated with people far beyond his small town, offering solace to those grieving the loss of loved ones. Despite facing skepticism from some, Landon remained steadfast in his conviction. He carried the weight of his experience with grace and humility. He simply shared his story, hoping to offer others a glimpse of the hope and love he had witnessed. His story became a beacon of light for many, offering comfort in times of grief. The debate surrounding near-death experiences continues to rage on, dividing skeptics and believers alike. Some dismiss NDEs as mere hallucinations, products of a brain starved of oxygen or grappling with the trauma of impending death. They point to physiological explanations, arguing that the sensations and visions reported are nothing more than the brain's way of making sense of a chaotic and terrifying situation. Others, however, see NDEs as compelling evidence for the existence of an afterlife. They point to the consistency of experiences reported across cultures and time periods. The scientific community remains divided, with some researchers dedicating their careers to unraveling the mysteries of consciousness. Studies continue to explore the neurological underpinnings of NDEs. The debate is far from settled, and it is unlikely that a definitive answer will be found anytime soon. However, the ongoing exploration of NDEs raises profound questions about the nature of consciousness. It challenges us to consider the possibility of an existence beyond the physical realm. Landon's story, while extraordinary, is just one of countless accounts that challenge our understanding of life, death, and the nature of consciousness. Whether viewed through the lens of science or spirituality, near-death experiences offer a tantalizing glimpse beyond the veil of our perceived reality. They remind us that there is much we do not know, much that lies beyond our current comprehension. They challenge us to remain open to new ideas, to question our assumptions, and to approach the mysteries of the universe with a sense of wonder and humility. While we may never fully unravel the enigma of NDEs, their impact on those who experience them is undeniable. They have the power to transform lives, to heal old wounds, and to inspire a renewed sense of purpose and meaning. They offer a message of hope, reminding us that love transcends the boundaries of life and death. Our spirits are eternal, connected by an unbreakable bond that extends far beyond the realm of our physical existence.